Greetings in the name of Jesus. This is Wilson Motoa from Grace Impact Center, just here in Georgia. I'm looking at the issues of pillars that will strengthen our marriages. And I'll just discuss just 5 of them among many others. Marriage is like a building that requires strong pillars to support it. Like an apartment will require very strong pillars to ensure that the life and the safety of the occupant is guaranteed, and therefore marriage pillars must be built deliberately and consciously. No marriage can just appear, and even a good marriage does not just happen. It must be a product of a collaborative process by both the parties, that is the husband and the wife. And marriage is beautiful, and it is God-given, and it was instituted by God from the beginning. And going back to the story of Genesis, we're able to understand how to build our marriages effectively. Now, pillar number 1 is faith pillar. Amos 3:3, can two walk together unless they are agreed? Of course not. And therefore, faith is very important pillar to ensure that we build. Remember Lot's wife. When they were commanded by the Lord to leave Sodom and Gomorrah, she looked back and she became a pillar of salt. A pillar of salt in today's terms can represent lack of spiritual journey or spiritual fixation or stagnation, becoming a monument in that marriage, or a faith monument. When your spouse or your partner ceases to journey in the things of God, it's not just the wife, also the husband can cease to journey or to grow spiritually. You started very well when you got married, and along the way, one of you decides to stagnate spiritually, and you turn up to be a pillar of salt. Now, pillar number 2 in our marriage is financial pillar, and this is one of the major cause of marriage conflict. Now, there are possible case scenario that can actually cause this conflict if not properly managed. Now, when the husband is the sole breadwinner and the wife is the housewife, or when the wife is the main or the sole breadwinner in the family and the husband is a dependent, or when the wife earns more than the husband. And in these socioeconomic times, because they're quite dynamic and they are changing, different from those many days when men used to be the only sole breadwinners, those case scenario can be a possibility, or they can emerge, and if not properly managed, then they can actually be a cause of marriage conflict. Communication is another pillar that we need to build. Communication can break in marriages, and whenever it breaks down in our marriages, it is because of the following issues. When the husband or the wife has an attitude or a negative attitude towards his wife or husband, when you know it all, when you only listen to understand other than, when you listen to answer other than to understand, that can be a cause of breakdown in communication, because any communication must be properly decoded and appropriate response given back, or feedback must be appropriate, the way it was intended by the one who coded the message. And in most cases in our marriages, there is a lot of breakdown in communication. Now, the other thing is how we manage the periphery relationship. This is the other pillar, the management of periphery relationship. These are exes, the in-laws, our other social groupings where we belong, even in our workplaces. How we manage this relationship matters a lot, because it can actually affect our marriage if not properly managed. Now, the other one is the issue of sex. And sex can actually break or make our marriages. In many cases, this has been a major cause of divorce, or even poor marriage relationship, or relationship between couples, or even whenever they are living together, is an issue, is a thorn in flesh. Now, sex is inborn because it's a God-given desire. It was put there by God to be enjoyed in a marriage covenant. It is also made because for us to continuously enjoy these act of sex in our marriages, it has, we have to embrace innovation we have to allow those creativity. We have to come up with moments when we deliberately create that environment. If you read Proverbs chapter 7, there is this woman who is actually a prostitute, though she's using it in the wrong context outside marriage, but the principle is correct, and she's very creative in terms of the way she's attracting these young men into her house. And we see Isaac caressing his wife, and the king looked through the window and he witnessed that. So issues of sexuality are inborn, but they are also man-made. We can